Welcome in, everybody, to ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB, Zach Brown. We are live in studio. Holy shit, Memorial Day weekend, big day of racing. We got my dad here, Jeff Brown from Crew Chief Corner segment. So we're just going to be bullshitting around, talking, sitting by the couch. We got Monaco on. It's definitely a barn burner here with 11-second lead on with the leader like it always is. So that's pretty great. So Dad, welcome in. We are live for the first time.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Memorial Day weekend, sitting here just north of Charlotte, watching it rain. Doesn't look good for tonight. And if you got up this morning and wanted to see an exciting race from Monaco, if you didn't see the start, you missed the rest of it. That's it.
The only hope for anything to happen to Monaco is a tire falls off and it hits another car. That's the only thing that'll be exciting about this. But it's a really cool view of Monaco. So if you're not tuning in, go tune into it.
I see my future yacht sitting there in the harbor, so you know.
Yeah, that's.
Once I hit the $1 billion lottery, I might be there one day.
I don't even know if $1 billion is going to get it. Well, big day racing, big day in motorsports. They call it one of the biggest days in motorsports with the Indianapolis 500 and the Coca-Cola 600. Likely only one of them happening today because Mother Nature wants to be an asshole today. So,
luckily, we got the Bob Weichert Memorial for sprint cars in Port Royal, Pennsylvania tonight. So, worst case, you're going to see some good dirt racing tonight. If you don't have it, it's on Flow Sports. Be sure to tune in if you can't make it to the track.
Well, obviously, first thing we want to do is shout out to all the veterans, everybody that sacrificed what they've done for this country. We've got the Army flag and the American flag right here representing my brother, who's in the second lieutenant in the Army. So shout out to him. Shout out to everybody that's served and family members that have served. So that's what this weekend's about. And to enjoy some racing and drink some beers and get rowdy. We got, like Dad was saying, the Bob Weichert Memorial Night 2 is tonight. This is the one for the big money and the big cow.
Yep, $29,000 to win, and they just upgraded $10,000 for second place. So it's good money racing tonight.
There was a lot of excitement yesterday. Macri whipped him pretty hard. He was going against that fence and thought that right rear is going to end up snapping off like he's done multiple times, but he made it work, and he's definitely got to be a favorite for tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Nobody can run the fence quite like Macri does. One little mistake though, that thing's he's gonna blow that tire or whatever. But he hit it just perfect last night and won by like 10 seconds. But shout out to Lance DeWeese, started 16th on that track. People were saying there wasn't a whole lot of passing. He ended up 4th. There was some passing. And also to note, Logan Sparr in the Eschenauer number 5 car won his 6th straight 305 race at Port Royal this year. Actually going back to 7 in a row from the last race at Selinsgrove last year. Congratulations to that team. They are definitely on a roll.
Yeah, they might have to start looking into going to something a little bit bigger if they keep whipping everybody in 305s like this. So, while you might have to break out a little bit more extra money to get to the 410 going. So they're definitely impressive. They got some good chemistry going on. But Dad, after watching some of the highlights, some of the race from last night for Port, going to tonight, what do you think we're looking at, how the track was going? It started getting a lot better as the night went through.
I was actually surprised how slick the track started off with early. It was dusty, and it took most of the night to get that dust blown off, and then the track widened out. I mean, you had Macri banging her off the walls, and you had Lance off the inside wall. I think you're going to see a lot more of that tonight. The weather up there is looking good, so I think it's still going to. And 2 nights in a row, it's hard to get the track really wet for the second night, so I think it's going to be slick, and I think you're actually probably going to see a better race tonight just because there's going to be multiple grooves in the track tonight.
Well, Posse's whipping the All-Stars' ass so far up in Pennsylvania, so that's pretty cool to see. Lance gets the win on Friday night at the Grove, and it's been a whipping so far. So, we're gonna get a pick out of the way, get the dirt pick out of the way. We're gonna get the big time picks out of the way at the end of the whole thing. We got a special event going to happen after the picks too, so stick around for that. That's going to be fun to see. But Night 2, who's your pick for the Bob Weichert Memorial, bringing home the 29K?
You know, I think right now at Port Royal, it's hard to go against Anthony Macri. He's just been the fastest car up there the last couple of years. I think he makes it 2 Weichert Memorials in a row for tonight.
Well, off camera, he picked him last night and pissed me off. And
total skill.
yeah, well, I mean, I thought I went out on a limb and picked Tyler Courtney last night, but no, I was wrong. But you know what? He was a hard charger last night, and I think the track's getting set up right for him. And he's won this a couple times, and he's one of the best drivers at Port. He's a second on the all-time leaderboard of wins at Port Royal. Definitely look for Lance DeWeese to pick up the Weichert Memorial tonight.
I'd be okay with that.
Lance, if I jinx you, I'm sorry. I've done it before. And I've jinxed the hell out of some people this year, so in every sport. So I could pick horse racing and the horse probably break its leg. So, I mean, it don't really matter. Hey, we're at an 11-second lead. Now he's closing in.
Yeah, it's all over for Verstappen.
Hell yeah. Look at that.
Alonso's catching him. He's only, we still got 40 laps to go or whatever it is, 48, 9 laps to go.
I can barely afford fucking watching this race.
I honestly, I mean, I know it's very popular, and I just don't get it. They had an interesting fact at Monaco. The last time there was a green flag on track pass for the lead was 1996, and that's because some cars were on rain tires and some cars were on slicks. And before that, with everything being equal, you had to go back to 1988 for a pass for the lead on track. That's crazy. It's a neat track, and it's really pretty there. It's cool. They go under the casino and, past the harbor with all the yachts. But other than that, it's really a boring race. But it's Memorial Day. It's a good way to start drinking. Get out your mimosas and, have a little racing on. We just have water right now because we got to hydrate for later.
I got to hydrate before I get dehydrated.
A lot of racing, a lot of beer to go through today.
Yeah, Michael brought beer too, so we got a few cases up in here. PA family should have come down. We need some help drinking. I mean, I think we can handle it. I think we'll be all right. But I mean, we used to go to the 600 all the time. We used to go there every single year, and it sucks seeing the track how they had to demolish the grandstands where we sat. It had awesome seats before off of turn 2. But I will say now it is pretty cool when you're. You're in a position like I am. I can go ride on a golf cart a little bit everywhere and go sit up there, and nobody's going to bother you. It's actually pretty cool. But you do miss the big stands, and they got rid of them. Some of them are going into 3 and 4 as well. But I think it's a sold-out race, whether they race today. Looking like it's going to be tomorrow night, though. But, I mean, it's always really cool to see. It's a marquee event. It's one of the biggest ones the sport has. Actually, all the motorsports have. They have so much hardware that goes with it. You get a special watch. You get a really cool ass trophy. I think you get it's a polo shirt or something. You get a little bit of everything for winning the Coke 600. So it's a big deal. It used to be the World 600, so it's pretty big deal in Charlotte.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of the top NASCAR races. That's you want to win the Daytona 500, you want to win the Coke 600, you want to win the Darlington, the Southern 500. That's for sure. It used to be the Indy, the Brickyard 400, which they need to bring that back as the road course is stupid. But I don't even think winning an Indy anymore in NASCAR is that big of a deal. So I think you just got those 3 big races throw in. I mean, everybody wants to win at Talladega at one time in their career at least. So that's pretty cool. But the marquees are for sure those big 3.
Well, before moving on, you can see here the little bit of sponsors. Shout out to everybody. We got Lickety Lou's All-Purpose Booyah Sauce. If you haven't checked them out, check them out now. They have 3 different sauces. They got original, spicy, and yellow. Yellow's a little bit sweeter. And marinate it, put it in your smoker, put it on your pulled pork, whatever you got to do. It's really good stuff. So check them out, licketyloos.com. W Energy, go to w.gg, check them out. They got all sorts of good stuff. They got hydration packs. They've got energy powders and stuff. And coming from someone that just graduated with exercise science and all of this nutrition shit and stuff, Michael said that they're pretty good. So they got good ingredients. So check them out. Use promo code ZBHP. Get 10% off your order. Again, that's w.gg. Promo code ZBHP. And also give another shout out to Big Frig Coolers. They sent me these tumblers, and that's one of the example tumblers they sent me. Pretty cool shit right there. Awesome for them to support me and support the whole podcast. It's pretty cool. We'll get that out of the way. That was definitely professional. That's how you cut a promo right there for everybody.
Yeah, we're going to need to hydrate after today besides. So I'll be good you guys.
Yeah, that's good. This is going to be a tomorrow morning thing right here. But it's, it's a shitty day here in North Carolina. Of course, once I have send pretty much a fucking hurricane through the whole thing. Why? It's going to be nice everywhere except here. It's going to. Of course, now it doesn't even rain in Pennsylvania. No, I'm not going there. Why not?
Yeah.
So it must be nice.
Watching the radar, there are going to be some breaks in the afternoon where they're going to try to get that, NASCAR's going to need to not dick around if they want to try to get any of that race in today.
Well, they'll bring the Air Titans in and they'll do what they can, but it's...
Yeah, we've seen that happen in Talladega. They could have got half the race in at least, and they dicked around, and had to cancel it and run it Monday when we weren't freaking there and had to go home.
Yeah, they got them. They still got to do all their formalities. They want to try to make this as prestigious as they can. I mean, it's all about the pre-race stuff a lot too. I mean, a lot of people enjoy seeing the shows they got coming for the 600. So I get it. As fans, you're like, let's just get the show on the road. But you got to appease sponsors. You got to get in your TV time. You got to have people jump off balcony. I don't know what the fuck they do now. They jump out of Black Hawks. I know they've done that before.
Which we got one that could do that.
Well, I mean, yeah, weather permitting, he can do that. That's an inside joke if you didn't get that. If he checks
so Michael, he graduated from Army Air Assault, so he's able to rappel out of helicopters and all that weird, crazy shit that those guys that do for our country.
He was like, hey, he told me one day, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go on a ruck today. I'm gonna ruck a marathon, and rucking you have like a 50 to 100-pound backpack on your back, and I'm like, fuck that. I don't even want to drive a marathon.
Yeah, I don't like driving 26.2 miles, let alone running, walking one, rucking, whatever he did. Good for him because he's
Holy shit! Hold on, we got a 5.7 second lead.
Somebody had to have a pit stop.
Yeah, or forgot how to... Yeah, I think he did just pit. No, that wasn't him. They practiced... I don't know. Hey, that's a lot better than what it was. Hell yeah.
Third place is 23 seconds behind, just in case you're, looking for somebody to be coming up through for a hard charger. It ain't happening.
Hell yeah. I would not fit in a Formula One race. First, I can't afford that. But it's still, who's this drunk bastard right here? Tom Holland, fucking Spider-Man's there. Yeah, I don't fit in that. Hey, ain't no way.
Well, if we could afford it, we'd fit in. We'd figure it out.
I'd be shotgunning fucking beers in the pier next to a fucking yacht. Hell yeah. But Indy 500, the weather actually looks good there.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be overcast, probably cool. I think the track's going to be super fast. That track's very temperature sensitive. So we're going to have an overcast. I think it's going to provide a lot of grip, a lot of downforce. I think you're going to see a lot of passing today out there. Don't really watch a whole lot of IndyCar racing, mainly because it's really hard to remember when they're on, what time they're on. All of a sudden, it's like you flip a channel and like, oh shit, IndyCars are on. But everybody, this is the biggest race of any of them throughout the year. It's definitely on my bucket list. I would like to try to go out there next year. Larson's running IndyCar. As you know, we're big Larson fans, and I would like to knock that track off my bucket list. I think that would be an awesome, awesome experience to see IndyCar. But that ceremony started, I think, 11 o'clock our time for Indy. That's always a cool thing. All the pageantry that they have for the Indy 500s, next to none for this that race. holy shit, we got a wing change going on here on the Red Bull car, and
Is this the leader?
no, it's Perez.
Oh, well, no, well fuck it. Nobody cares. He's running like fucking 35th, so who cares?
These guys just changed the whole front end of the car in 15 seconds. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, you think the NASCAR pit stops with 9-10 second stops are impressive. They just
Yeah,
did
but they
that.
also had 12 guys doing everything at one time, so it makes a little bit of a difference rather than having 5.
But yeah, so the Indy 500, the qualifying is the fastest 4-lap average ever recorded for Indianapolis 500. It was Alex Palou beat out Scott Dixon's record, and nobody thought that was ever going to get touched. But fuck, he was flying in that, and it was impressive. And I think you're going to have a record-setting pace for this race, and I think it's going to be real exciting.
Yeah, it could very well be. You know, it's to break that record, everything had to be just right. The track had to be cool enough. It had to have, you know, not any wind that's going to affect the cars. Those things are really, really sensitive to that. So that's, you know, that's hauling, right? Those things they're going 240, 243 mile an hour, you know, into a direct 90-degree turn. That's insane how fast those things are getting around there. That's really cool to see.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Outlaws. They were just at Atomic, so they got a little nuclear there. I'm fucking lame. They had 2 nights there. The first night was actually both nights were real exciting. The Outlaw races have been really good this year. They put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the new Hoosier tire that sort of brought the field closer together, or if they're just, you know, happen to be just that close anymore. But there's
that, or the fact we're actually paying attention to it more this year.
Yeah, but still, you know, there's usually there's a runaway race for the lead. Because the Outlaws, you know, you start up front and you're pretty well going anymore. I mean, these guys are coming back. You know, anywhere in the top 10 is a good chance you can if you can pass, you can win that race. It's been good racing. It's you know, it's hard to pick. There's 5-6 guys any given night's going to win that thing. Where, you know, before it used to be 2 or 3 that had a legit shot. So it's exciting racing, and I'm glad to see for dirt track. You know, they're gradually getting more and more exposure. You know, having Larson come in and have his series, and, you know, him coming in is helping NASCAR fans, you know, notice dirt track a little more. So it's good to see they're good racing. And if you've only ever seen sprint cars on TV,
sorry.
Yeah, we're down to a 9-second lead. It's getting close over here. But if you only ever seen sprint cars on TV, you don't get a sense of how fast those cars actually are. It's, you know, these things are on a little, you know, quarter mile to half mile dirt track. You cannot believe how fast those cars are going around that thing. It's crazy. And if you ever seen a sprint car, it's a very primitive suspension setup. It's solid axles, torsion bars. It's, you know, basically a Model T suspension in these things, and, you know, they just absolutely fly around that track. It's awesome to see for sure.
I enjoyed that the races at Atomic. That's a pretty neat track, especially when it's not completely dusty and you can make it out. It was really dusty in the All-Star race, so I don't know if they had some rain get through there and add some moisture to the track.
I know the Outlaws kind of tell you how they want the track, so maybe they had a little input of getting it a little less dusty. You know, it's the worst thing. You know, sometimes the racing's good on a dusty track, but for fans, it's really hard to see, and it doesn't put on a good show on TV. Be like, why the hell would I want to go see that and come back and get covered in dust? So it's, you know, slick tracks generally put on better shows when you have multiple grooves. You know, if you have a wet track and one groove, you know, they're just going to haul around the cushion. You're not going to pass nobody. So you definitely want them dry, but you want them dry without being dusty.
Well, it was a battle of the brother-in-laws on Saturday between Friday. I don't know what day it is. Fuck! Between Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson. So Larson made another trip up there to race a sprint car, and might be the only racing he really gets to do this weekend if this rain keeps up here. Hell of a battle between the two. Sweet had the fastest car all night. He had that thing hooked up. But fucking Larson was throwing dive bombs and doing everything he could to get. He was trying to get on Brad's last nerve a little bit too, and get him a little bit nervous and shaking up. Larson ran it so fucking hard. He ran outside the damn track, came back onto the track, fell back to like 5th, ended up 2nd still. So it was pretty exciting. He always puts on a hell of a show, and that's what he's all about. He wants to put on a show for everybody.
Yeah, it's if you've seen the series on FS1 Dirt that follows Larson around, he actually talks about the slide jobs and things, and a lot of what he's aiming to do is not necessarily pass you that slide job. He just wants you to look that little bit, and all of a sudden you back off the gas, make one little tiny mistake, next corner he's got you. So that Sweet's 4-time outlaw champion. He's going to stay focused, and he knows that Larson's probably not going to come in and take him out. Those guys are going to race hard as they can with each other. So yeah, good racing. It's fun. It's fun to see that kind of racing. And Victory Lane, they're all happy for each other. It's pretty cool.
Isn't it 4 in a row? 4 championships in a row that Brad's had?
I believe so. Yes.
I don't think he's going to get the championship this year, but I mean, there's still a lot of racing left.
He is leading the points now.
So somebody's starting to make his way up there. He's won 20 championships.
10
shots.
10 championships.
Still a lot of championships.
He won a lot.
And
he's second behind Kinzer.
And he's getting it rolling now. It's going into summertime. The track's getting hot and slick. This is where he's coming to life.
Well, Donnie's getting a little older, so he's starting to like the slicker tracks, running the bottom a little more. And you get into summertime, we're getting into his wheelhouse. I know they're going to be racing in North Dakota here very soon.
That's very fucking cool.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever lost a race in North Dakota where he's from. So that's that'll be coming up soon. So he's going to be tough to beat here at the end of the season for sure.
Well, it's battle between him, Macedo, and Gravel on Saturday night at Atomic. And also want to give a special shout out to one of our guests that we had prior here, Nate Reeser. He made the Outlaw Show. Small team, so it's awesome to see him make that Outlaw Show and just keep making improvements on that car. That's awesome. Again, they're a low-budget team, and they're always trying to make these big-time shows, and he was able to, and passed some cars and showed some good speed throughout that race. So good job, Nate, on you and that entire team. So I know that was very special for you guys. But the big battle was Macedo, Gravel, and Shots throughout that night. And Carson Macedo was able to have it hooked up top. And Shots was the only one really able to make the bottom work.
Yeah, he was trying everything he had to get him. Just couldn't. That top was just a little too fast coming off the corner.
The tires eventually, I think, died off, and Gravel got past Shots towards the end, and Macedo was able to drive away and get the win. That's his first win since down in Florida earlier this year. So
I didn't realize that.
That's the second win. So Macedo's been consistent. He's been getting second quite a lot. So that was cool to see him get the win. And another great Outlaw show. It was a lot of fun to watch and watch the highlights and everything. So if anybody hasn't seen them, at least tune into the highlights on YouTube. That's how I catch a lot of it. And it's the highlights are almost the entire race anyways. So it's definitely pretty cool they're able to post that on there. And I try not to see anything on social media until after I watch it because I don't like spoilers and stuff because that'd be my luck. I tried to figure out who won the Grove. Was going to watch highlights from Friday and fucking tuned into Facebook because my dumbass was like, "Hey, I'll never see it here," and fucking did.
But that was a good race at Williams Grove Friday night with the All Stars. Lance running down the lead like early in the race. I thought, man, Lance isn't very good. They had a restart with 5 laps to go, and I don't know what changed, but all of a sudden he was man on a mission. Tight around the bottom. Macri gets out in front. He's hard to pass, and he came up and got the Macri. And Macri's smart. He drives down, tried to take Lance's line, and Lance is like, "You think you're low? I'm going to go lower." And he gets him on the low side coming off of turn 4, and that he ended up winning by over 3 seconds, I think. That car in clean air is an absolute rocket ship, though.
And that driver at Williams Grove is kind of good too. The all-time leader.
113 wins for Lance. Made Don Cranch Jr. the winningest car owner with 93 wins, I think they said, total.
2 drivers said that.
Yeah. Donnie's done that with 2 drivers,
Himself.
Al Hamilton's second in the list. I don't know how many drivers he's gone through, several. So that's pretty impressive that, Donnie did it himself for 60-some wins, and then Lance has 30-some with Donnie as a car owner, so that's pretty cool. Congratulations to all them. They're well deserved. Shout out to my dad. He he was in the hospital for a little bit. He got out this week. He didn't make it to Williams Grove Friday night, but I called him on Friday afternoon, and he said he was going to go to Port Royal last night, so he was up there. So hopefully he's feeling good enough and can be back there tonight. Get that car set up for the 29,000.
I know he couldn't stand it not being there at the Grove on Friday either. I bet he definitely wanted to be there if he could, Ben. And but I mean, his birthday's next week, so he rarely misses any races anyway. So be a good birthday present, Lance, if for him if you can get the win tonight. Just let you know he enjoys sprint car wins as his birthday present. We'll dive back into some NASCAR at Charlotte. Well, let's start with ARCA. I don't ever talk about ARCA because there's really no point. But this time there is. And one of the drivers that we had on, awesome guy, awesome driver, small team.
Local team here.
Yep, and he's a late model driver, former law enforcement officer, so definitely cool to see that. Caleb Costner ends up getting P13 in the ARCA race, kept the car clean, brings it home in one piece. That's the biggest thing. That's their only car. They blew a tire at Talladega, and he was running up in the top 10 at Talladega, and tire blew. You can't really control that. But they weren't sure if they can get it fixed. And they were able to work on it. They worked through the entire night the night before. They had a special Kevin Harvick throwback scheme, and actually FS1 gave them a shout-out in the race. So that was really cool. That's great exposure for them. Hopefully they can make some more things happen. That was really cool. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out, look up Caleb Costner. You can find the interview with me and him talking about him. He's got some behind-the-scenes stuff that they posted on YouTube, and you can follow them anywhere. It's cool to see him following his dreams, and I mean, it's cool to see small teams do pretty well. And his goal was to stay out of people's way and keep it clean, but also be competitive, and he did just that.
Yeah, he did a good job. They actually had to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments, so he came back up through and run 13th, and he was solid with some of the big name guys all night. So congratulations to that team. I know that was very happy to. I'm sure they were very happy to come home with that finish. That builds a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum for them. So and having the shout out on FS1, good shout out for their sponsors. So thanks to their sponsors. Glad to see them support a smaller local team like that. That's good to see.
Yeah, he finished right behind Malcolm in the middle. So
Frankie Muniz.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't complain too much when you finish right behind him. There's some drivers in ARCA probably don't. He needs to be more regular than some of these drivers in there. Some of them are not very competitive. I'm not going to name any names, but if you watch the races, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember who won. I don't know the guy's name. It was Venturini Motorsports. I know that. They obviously have a higher budget. Now, you can see they've got the full-on big haulers like NASCAR has. It's hard to compete against that.
Joe Gibbs has a car in it.
It's
which is nice that ARCA does not have competitive pit stops. That saves these teams a ton of money by not having to hire a NASCAR pit crew. So you come in, you change your tires, you're going to get the same spot that you came in and you came back out. That you can hire anybody that can just change the tire, get it on, and get it tight. You don't have to have your 11-second pit stops to be any kind of competitive in this race.
9-second lead. It is getting to it right now.
35 seconds over third place, though.
We have 31 laps to go, 32 laps to go.
There are 11 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah.
In Monaco, on a road course, they lapped everybody up to 11th place.
So,
it's
getting real.
A little past halfway.
Again, diving into the staying at Charlotte, and I actually got to see the ARCA race. I was at Caleb's pit box, so that was cool. And wasn't staying for the truck race. I was tired. First night without the baby at the house, so I was able to get a full night's sleep. That was nice. The truck race, it was exciting, and you thought that Carson Hocevar was going to end up winning. He had a freaking, 10-second lead at one point or something crazy like that. And I know that pissed some of the drivers off because he's starting to get on everybody's last nerve right now. I don't think he had any incidents from what I could tell. No, stay away, Rain. I don't even care if you're Monaco. Stay the fuck away. And, but different strategies and pit stops, luck, a little bit of everything played into effect. Ben Rhodes got the win in the truck race. If you follow me, I picked Raja Caruth to win, and I completely made the jack blow up, apparently. Because the jack completely broke, and the fucking didn't even get the pit stop right, and fell back in the 20s. And I'm sorry, Raja. I thought you were gonna be able to possibly win that. No, every time I pick somebody, fuck.
Well, I picked Zane Smith. He didn't do any better. He got into a crash. So
yeah, but fuck you.
Sorry,
Picks
guys.
do a lot better than mine. I don't think you have a jinx. I just jinx everybody. I think about that fucking man. Yeah, that's what. Whoever I'm picking for the 600 and 500, if you're gonna bet against that. Do not bet with him. I'm sorry, Lance. I already picked you. We'll get into our Indy 500 and our Coke 600 picks in about an hour. Okay, we're still tracking Monaco right now, and
they just had pit stops.
Trying to see if there's going to be a little bit of break in this weather. I think the sun might be trying to poke out a little bit.
Yeah, somewhere around 3 o'clock, it's going to be more to just showers. I wish we'd get some kind of wind coming in, blowing this thing out. It's really a weird storm. North Carolina, usually stuff comes from the west, comes across the east. This one's coming in off the ocean, almost like a tropical system.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Yeah, so it's one of those things that looks like it's just going to sit here till tomorrow afternoon. Whether or not it breaks up enough. One thing that helps, we're closer to the mountains. That does seem to make the storms a little more unstable in this area.
Well, I'm looking at the radar right now, and it's kind of becoming more scattered. They don't fucking know. I'm going to be a meteorologist. I'm fucking... Right now, there's nothing... Well, at Charlotte Motor Speedway, there's a little bit, but, like, seeing where this is going, it's hard to tell. We're a little bit north of where the Speedway is. It could be completely different fucking weather there.
Well, just driving up 85 this morning at the Speedway was raining pretty hard. We get, just north of the Speedway a little bit towards, getting closer to Salisbury and China Grove, and it was definitely a lot lighter up here than it was there. So,
If this rain will just go a little bit more west, I'm looking at the radar right now, they could get this race in. There's a big break from like South Carolina into Charlotte. There's a break right there, but needs to move a little bit west, and we'll have a fucking race tonight. And that'll be, I hope.
Could possibly be the Coke 300 tonight.
Or I'll just, regardless, I'm still going to drink, and it doesn't matter. I don't really care what the race tonight.
Yeah, well, we're always going to be racing. We're going to be tuning into Port Royal. If they're both going on.
I dare it to rain. I dare it.
If they're both running, we're going to have, Port Royal on one screen. We're going to have the Coke 600 on the other screen.
It's going to be like a fucking...
cooler full of beer sitting here.
Yeah,
probably
it's legitimately a bar over here. It's a sports bar. That's how you do it.
We're going to grill some stuff. We're going to get some...
These will not have water in them for much longer.
Yeah, lickety-loos going out on the food tonight, so...
Oh, yeah. I already took a shot of W earlier, so I'm all jacked up. Michael took the coffee and W, so he's off the wall downstairs. He's on babysitting duty for a little bit while we bullshit about that. I tried to get him on here, but he said, "No, I don't want to do that." Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to jump out of helicopters, but don't want to come on a podcast.
He's shy.
Yeah.
So shy. What are we doing? Where are we at Monaco? What are we fucking doing?
Our 51 laps in of 78.
So the thing about Formula One and IndyCar, they shift with their hands, right?
Yeah, everything. Those steering wheels are like a whole computer system. I think those things are they're like a $50,000 steering wheel. It's like the whole. They know their lap times. They can adjust their fuel. They shift. I mean, they can wipe their own ass with those things or whatever they do. It's unreal. It's really cool. I mean, all the telemetry they have going in. Technology wise, Formula One cars are really awesome. It just the racing just sucks. I mean, there's going to be one manufacturer that's faster than the rest, and that's who's going to win.
And right now,
they are tracking rain. If it rains in Monaco and they go to the rain tires, that does even out this field quite a bit. So that would probably make a way better race than what we got.
Well, 26 laps left. I don't think there's any fucking hope to make anything competitive right now. I don't think it matters because the worst case, the leader can finish is like 10th right now. So he's basically got a top 10 regardless. And Red Bull's won every... correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Red Bull's won every damn... I don't follow Formula 1, but every time I tune in, they're like, hey, fucking Red Bull won. And it's usually the Verstappen or Verstappen and what the fuck his name is. I don't know what his name is, but he's pretty freaking good. I don't know. But is that... So... What's the difference between these cars and then you shift into the Indy cars later?
Well, the technology, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe these have a hybrid thing. These cars have traction control, all kinds of crazy stuff. These are also naturally aspirated engines, which makes the Indy cars are turbocharged. Wheelbases, the cars, they look similar, but they actually couldn't be any more different. Other than the fact that they're open wheel cars with wings on the front and the back, that's the only similarity between them. The engines or packages are completely different. The racing rules are different. Formula One, they run Pirelli tires. Indy cars are running Firestones. There's a lot of difference between the two. Indy cars run methanol. I believe these are on just gasoline, and I don't think they are allowed to take fuel. If I remember correctly, I think they got to run the whatever tank of fuel. I don't think you ever see them put gas in.
That would make sense why the stops are a lot faster then.
Yeah. Plus they have one person on each wheel, and
oh, there's a pass. I don't know where this is for, but there's a pass. Oh, 17th. Yeah. Woo! Oh, and then he missed the corner.
Yeah, he missed the corner, so he's probably going to get some kind of penalty for that. I don't really know the rules on that whole thing. But Lewis Hamilton, multi Formula One champion. He's running mid-pack of the lead lap at 6th place. So that shows you what,
It's just a story of the year with this. And but Formula One's going to be a big success. They had that Netflix documentary.
That helped them a lot.
And they got so many people that never watched racing, they got into it. And then you got all these bougie people that come out to these races and they spend money. It's like $50 for a ham sandwich. Fuck that. I'll just pack my own.
That better be some good ham.
And they race down to Miami. The Miami Dolphins owner is the one that puts on the event. He made more money with that than he does an entire season with the Dolphins. So, it makes money. And NASCAR's looking at that. They're like, we're going to fucking try. And they're going to do it in Chicago. And it's going to suck. It's going to be stupid. But it's going to be a fucking success because they're going to bring in money and it's going to happen again next year. You just know it's going to happen. I'll keep ranting. I keep ranting on fucking Chicago, and I will until they stop doing that.
Yeah, the NASCAR, I don't know. They're just too heavy and slow to be on a street course. I'm sorry, it's just not that type. But I don't mind road course racing.
But I bet they handle a lot better than the short track package though. They figured out the road courses and stuff. So I bet it does decent.
Well, the thing is with the NASCAR, those things, they're getting so technical. They have a tunnel underneath that providing downforce. They got the big tires, the big brakes compared to what they used to have. It's just the cars are too good on a short track. They just don't, you shouldn't. They need the cars to not handle. That way it puts it back in the drivers. If you're ballsy enough to haul a car that's not handling in and to pass somebody, give her hell. Put it in there, slide in front of them. They get all excited for slide jobs in NASCAR, which really isn't the same thing. You're just kind of going in and drifting up in front of them. But, let it go back into the hands of the drivers and the crews a little bit. It's they got a lot to do. I think they need to take the downforce off, put the horsepower back in those things on those small tracks. Let them blow the tires off coming up the corner. Make the driver throttle that thing. If you can get the power down better than the next guy, you're going to go past them. That's they need a lot of work, and hopefully NASCAR. They got to see it. It's bad racing.
It's talked about everywhere. Everybody's been mentioning on everybody's podcast that they have, and Denny Hamlin has his own podcast and he talks about it, and Junior has it, and he's a polarizing figure in NASCAR. And so they've got to see something. I mean, obviously nothing can really be done this year. They're going to have to kind of go back to the drawing board for next year and figure out what they can do.
Yeah, the only thing that can be done, they could change the underneath tunnel. They could change the spoilers. There's not much you can really do with the wheels and tire package other than having a different tire compound, which sounds easy, but it's Goodyear's only they don't make just certain tire packages for they have them tuned for each track. But they could change the horsepower easy enough. That's all computer controlled.
Yeah.
So that's
just a chip.
They got to try something because short track racing used to be very exciting. The fans want to see you don't want to see them crash each other, but you want to pass somebody,
bump and runs,
give them a little bump, slide them out of the way, go past them.
I will say that the 1.5 mile tracks, they've been pretty decent.
This car's been very good on the 1.5 mile tracks. The racing's been a lot closer for the most part. Yeah, the short track, I can't believe that screwed that up.
I will say I have thoroughly enjoyed a few of the short tracks this year because we're kind of biased on it.
Right.
With Larson winning Martinsville and he winning Richmond and then winning the All-Star race, which he was obviously fucking pumped up about. But everybody's like, oh, he's cheating. He ran a line nobody else could run because he was able to figure out how to run it right, and he was on the fucking concrete apron. Nobody else could do that. Nobody can get their car to adjust like that. And they're like, oh, no, he's just that much better of a fucking driver than everybody. So everybody can just shut the fuck up about it and move on. Everybody said Jimmy Johnson cheated when he won 5 championships in a row. No, they're just better. Right now, it's a lot of it's Cliff Daniels. Obviously, Larson's a great driver, but Cliff Daniels does an amazing job, first of all, keeping Larson positive.
Yeah.
Because Larson he's harder on himself than anybody is. Yeah. And making in-race adjustments. That car could be complete garbage like it was at Wilkesboro. Fucking won it by like 6 seconds. So, like, Cliff Daniels is pretty... I said it earlier. I think Cliff Daniels is definitely the next Chad Knaus. The way he calls a race, the way he strategizes for a race and everything.
Yeah, nothing really ever seems to throw him a curveball. It's like something happens,
and he's always calm.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't get frustrated.
Well, besides when Chastain wrecks him.
Yeah, well, you can't fault a guy for being mad at that when you have the fastest
multiple weeks.
Yeah.
I thought Wilkesboro was cool though, and I touched on it this week. I thought it was still awesome to see. I don't think it needs to be an all-star race. I think it needs to be a 400 lap normal points race.
Yeah, it would be a lot better. You get 40 cars on that track.
And I don't know if a necessary repave needs to happen. I think they need to at least resurface it, like they've done with Darlington. They dig up all that, put it back down.
The track was starting to come apart and get real loose, and that didn't help any. And I think Goodyear had a very conservative tire. I think a better tire with. Oh, we are starting to get some rain here going now in Monaco, so that's. That. Although
it's only a 21-second lead.
Yeah. So he's gonna have to come in and pit here. I'm guessing he didn't pit yet for the rain. It's putting it down pretty good there right now. So this might get a lot more exciting.
This is what Charlotte looks like right now.
Yeah, this is what we're seeing. This is pretty much I-85.
But I've been saying it for all-star races. I like it to keep going to different tracks. Every year needs to be a different track. I think, was that him?
Is that the leader? He's on slick tires. I know he's had whoever that was. It was a Red Bull car. They were really, really struggling on slick tires here.
Well, that's a replay. I don't know if they changed them out or not. It just started pouring for him.
Oh,
yeah, that's a replay. He just
smacked her in the wall.
I think the All-Star race needs to keep shifting to different racetracks every year. And I also think that should be also the site for the championship that year. You race the All-Star race, then you race the championship. So wherever you want to have the championship, also have the All-Star race there. And have a pretty unique format. All-Star race is about just having fun and changing some things up. That's what that's all about. And you're going for the million. So I would change it up a little bit. You can go. Some people are calling Wilkesboro should be the championship race. Have you seen the mountains in North Carolina in November? Probably not a good idea.
You're not going to want to do that in November.
Little chilly.
It could be snowing.
But I mean, one year you can have it at Homestead. You can have the All-Star race, and then you can have championship at Homestead. Homestead's an awesome place to have the championship. You're in Miami. Everybody wants to party up in Miami.
I'd like to see Daytona for the first and the last race.
Daytona would be cool. That would definitely be interesting. That could be a year.
But the All-Star race, they could do something. They brought Wilkesboro back for the All-Star race. Hopefully,
Rockingham.
And some of these tracks that don't draw, maybe not have a race every year at those tracks. You'd be like, okay, we're going to race. I know the drivers don't like Texas. I know it gets a pretty good crowd. Run Texas one year, maybe not run Texas next year. Go back to Nashville or
Vegas,
IRP. Run some of these other tracks that they don't. Do a point race at Rockingham.
I say Vegas or All-Star and Vegas for a championship would be great. Nashville you could probably do an All-Star, and Nashville Fairgrounds would be great. That'd be a fun All-Star race, actually. Nashville Fairgrounds. Because that smaller track, you can have 24 cars or whatever it is on that. That wouldn't be too bad. That'd be actually pretty exciting. And
Dover would be a good All-Star race.
Yeah.
They get around Dover pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't hate to see Martinsville for an All-Star race or some of the things like that. Some of those tracks, normally are pretty good racing that you'd like to see. Normally Richmond, I would say, would be a good All-Star race, but until they change this short track package, I don't think right now would be a good time.
Richmond still needs to go back tonight.
Like see them go to Iowa.
Iowa fucking awesome.
Yeah, 7/8 mile high bank. They haul ass around there.
I love Iowa. Iowa's so much fun.
That'd be a good place to run.
And Xfinity and trucks always put on a good show at Iowa.
Yeah.
It's always good. IndyCar put on a great show. Jimmy Johnson was doing well at Iowa. I think he got top 10 both Iowa back-to-back races and stuff like that.
That's surprising.
I mean,
we got the people having trouble on slick tires here on Monaco. If you aren't tuning in, they're crashing like hell.
I figured you thought they would throw a big call. I don't know what the rules are though. How
I don't know. Verstappen's got a 21-second lead, so
I think he could slow it down a little bit and he'd be fine. It's 20 laps.
20 laps to go.
Well, let's preview the Xfinity race. They canceled. Well, not canceled. They postponed it to Monday at 3:00. So there's a window on Monday down here. And from what I'm seeing, what likely is going to happen is that the Cup's going to be delayed till after the Xfinity race. So they'll still have a night race for the 600. I mean, it's almost like a regular Sunday night race that it would happen. So it's all right. People are going to have to call out of work on Tuesday, likely, still to do it. But you got to do what you got to do with rain. But at least you're able to have that buffer for this. But 300-mile race for Xfinity, which is a pretty big race for them too. The racing at Charlotte, their home tracks. They're definitely looking at the truck race and how the ARCA race ran. The track's gonna have a lot of grip, and there's gonna be depending on if they can get Cup racing today, there'll be a little bit of
it's probably still going to be rain. Even if they get some Cup racing,
it's going to be
some rain.
It's going to be a green track tomorrow, so
they're going to have an early competition caution for sure.
They're on everything. They did get qualifying and practice in, but we kind of talked about it off camera, and we've had a pretty similar picks each week. Who we've been picking, kind of go out on a limb, picking JR Motorsports for a while.
They've been struggling a little bit this year. They're not the dominant team like they have been. Sooner or later, they're bound to figure this out. But losing Noah Gragson out of the team probably.
And they're about to lose Josh Berry.
So that's
For those that don't know, Josh Berry likely is going to be at Kevin Harvick, taking Kevin Harvick's place next year for Stuart Haas. I think that's they're finalizing the contract and all that stuff. I'm sure that'll be a big announcement coming up here soon.
Yeah, and good for Josh Berry. You get the diehard Ford people like, Chevy let him go. You know what? You people forget Jeff Gordon was in Ford and went to Chevy, and William Byron was big Toyota driver and ends up in Chevy. So I mean, it's Junior's developing these drivers in his team.
Keselowski.
To become the next levels, and they're not going to tell these guys, hey, I guess if there was a top Chevy ride, maybe he had a choice between the two. Right now,
There really isn't
there isn't
anything.
anything open. Stuart Haas is a good team, well funded. Wouldn't be surprised if they do not stick with Ford for
It's whoever wants to pay him the money.
yeah. I mean, rumor has it the poor Haas cars are having trouble on this thing. Rumor has it that Dodge wants to come back. I don't think that's going to happen, even though Tony's
I think you're going
drag
to.
race.
I think
I
you're
would
gonna
love
have,
to see Dodge come back.
I think you're going to see a separate manufacturer make its appearance before Dodge comes
But being
back.
that Richard Petty or Legacy Motorsports switched from Chevy, does Chevy try to get Stuart Haas back in a Chevy? I guess it sort of remains to be seen. I don't know how long the Ford contract is with Stuart Haas, so that's going to make some difference. Well, those guys are really struggling on that track.
I mean,
Those rain tires.
those are rain tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Whoops.
But I mean, Josh Berry's got to do what's best for him. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
good for Josh Berry. He's a good racer. I'm glad to see him, and he worked his way.
and I'm calling
hard
it,
way.
and everybody's like, who's going to replace him in the 8? It's going to be Carson Kvapil. I mean, he wins almost every damn week in the late model race. He races for Junior, and then I believe he's 18 now. If not, he's about to be 18, so he'll be old enough to race. Junior can develop in. He's going to have 2 young drivers then, him and Brandon Jones in it, and Justin Allgaier's still there. To hopefully I think he only signed a 1-year deal, so hopefully he signs another year, helps these younger drivers get better and better. Because I mean, I like Justin Allgaier. He's done a good job, and
Yeah.
He probably should have gotten more chances in Cup races, but he's been he's been humble and has been.
I
able
think
to
he's been
stick
pretty
with it.
happy where he's
Yeah.
at. Sometimes you just realize that's where you belong. He gets to be the senior guy at Junior Motorsports.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate professional. He never says anything bad about anybody. He's very humble, appreciative of his crew. I like Justin Allgaier. I think he's a good guy.
Well, who's your pick for the Xfinity race? And after this, we're going to go on a quick break. And you won't want to miss what's on the second half here in a minute. But your pick for Xfinity, the Alsco Uniforms 300 at Charlotte.
We are just talking about him. He is the pole sitter. I'm going to go with Justin Allgaier. I think this is the race, Junior, home track. This is the one they're putting the emphasis on. I think he's gonna pull it off the win today.
I'm going to go with another Chevrolet, but not Junior Motorsports. Been fast all year, has had a couple wins. He was really a rocket ship early on, falling off a little bit, and obviously it's going to happen. You have ups and downs through a season anyways. It's NASCAR. But the 21 for Richard Childress, Austin Hill, is my pick for the Xfinity race. So, again, everybody, stay tuned. We're going to go take a piss break, get some more water, and make sure you'll be on the other end. And, tell a friend, tell them to tune in because the second half's going to be a lot of fun.
And if you're on your computer or your phone, there is live chat. Feel free to put anything in there, ask questions. We'll do our best to answer your questions or just say hi, see who's watching us.
Yeah, tell us where you're watching from and all that stuff. So we'll see you guys here on the flip side. are back. All right, the second half of the show, we're really going to be diving into a little bit of Indy 500, Coke 600 a little bit more. Obviously, we talked about how just historic and just how much of a big deal these races are. And you see the emotions, especially the Indy 500, how much it means to these drivers. You saw it in qualifying, how heartbreaking it can be for Graham Rahal. Didn't even qualify in it, but he's actually filling in for the race. How would that be something if he ends up getting a win, filling in for a driver he didn't even qualify for the race? That's pretty crazy.
That would be something. I don't see it happening, but that would be an awesome story. Indy 500, this is going to be Tony Kanaan's last Indy 500. I think that would be a huge fan favorite. TK seems like he's an awesome guy. He's been in the sport a lot of years. He's probably one of the most popular drivers. That's cool.
Fuck, we just got a damn ghost come up in this bitch. Damn.
A little power surge with the storm going on out here, I guess, or whatever.
Sure, let's go with that. It's definitely not fucking Casper up in here and random shit happening. It's a brand new house. I don't think it shouldn't be haunted. Let's run a fucking like Indian burial ground.
Have you seen Poltergeist?
Fuck. Well, if anybody's wondering, it is a 22-second lead in Formula One now. So, there's a caution where he's at. And just, fuck it. Just leave it there.
Yeah, these guys can't even stay on the track with...
Dude, you've got wet weather tires.
Shit, I didn't know they had reverse. I'm impressed.
Was he just going to leave it there?
Well, I guess he's going back out on the track and keep going.
Oh, I didn't see where he was. I thought, oh shit! I thought he was going to back into him. That'd be hilarious. That'd be my.
At least that'd have been exciting.
Oh my gosh! He only fell back to 13th.
Yeah, there are more cars on the lead lap now. Now that the rain tires, I said it might make it more equal. Well, I guess it did, but now we're 19 cars on the lead lap.
I don't know why the chat didn't show up. Michael's being an asshole downstairs watching.
Yeah, Zach asked where you're watching from, and he put, I'm watching from your living room, so
yeah.
Good job, little smart ass.
But the spectacle of the Indy 500 is incredible, and
it's just tradition, and I'm glad that they keep it as original as you possibly can. Everything from they get the local bands playing, the high school bands playing, singing Back Home Again in Indiana. It's just... I
wonder who sings it now.
I don't remember who sings it now. Jim Neighbors passed away a few years ago.
Yeah. I know, because he was always singing it and stuff.
Yeah.
And the trophy's fucking cool.
Yeah. Was about a 5-foot trophy, weighs 100 and some pounds.
Yeah, I think they made a joke. It was bigger than Danica when she was racing the Indy 500.
It's probably bigger than Larson is right now. So
arguably, yeah. But going back to TK, he was helping Larson get fitted for the seat. So I didn't realize how much preparation will go into the Indy 500 a year in advance.
Yeah, I was actually surprised they were out getting Larson fitted for that this year. So that's pretty awesome. And funny story, he went out to get fitted for the seat right after the race where he and Chastain crashed. And as a joke, he goes to get in the seat, and they had a watermelon sitting in the seat of the IndyCar. So, that's pretty funny on those guys. I'm sure Larson got a big laugh out of that as well.
And there's only one driver to ever complete the 1,100 miles in one day. Was Tony Stewart. I think he was like 6th or something in the Indianapolis 500 and like 4th. Or he was very good finishes in both of them. I just hope that'd be really cool to just see somebody win both races. That would just be fucking incredible. It would never happen again.
Yeah, that would be unreal.
And I fully expect Larson to be able to go out there next year and have success. Anything he gets into, he does well. First time he was ever in a dirt modified, won at Eldora.
First time he was ever in a dirt late model, he won.
Yeah, so you don't just do that. So he has a lot of time preparation, and just raw skill too, a mixture of everything, and he's a student of the sport, and he's going to make it work. He also said he wants to race a Formula One race. I think it was Abu Dhabi or Dubai, one of the two. He wants to race in. It's after the NASCAR season's over.
That'd be cool.
He wants to try to get a ride there too. I bet somebody will give him a chance.
That happens. I mean, they draw huge crowds anyway, but if they want to get NASCAR people to watch, put Larson in one of those cars. I'd tune in.
Fuck yeah.
To watch it.
This is the only Formula One race I watch because it's the biggest day in motorsports. So why not watch somebody win by fucking a day?
25 seconds.
Yeah. He can go take a nap right now. He still win.
Yeah.
I don't think you need your blinking lights on. Ain't nobody behind you.
It's because it's rain.
I know, but he doesn't need it. Ain't nobody near him.
Well, we got 6 laps to go in the Formula One race.
It's just still pretty cool. I mean, it's ain't nobody moving. Ain't nobody on their seats. Off their seats. They're on their ass right now. Oh, yeah. Good on you. Good on you, sir. That's just what I imagine they sound like. It's probably not. So, sorry. But, yeah, whatever. But yeah, it's just today is like what racing, what motorsports is all about. It's like America, yeah. Hashtag America today. That's why I got all my shit on. Hell yeah! Like I mean, you got the Indy 500s to start. It kicks it off really, and then you get into just like hell yeah, let's get America up in here in the Coke 600. Now I wish they did a lot more of that because it's just that's what the sport's all about. And
I don't know if they still have it planned or had it planned at all because of the weather, but at Charlotte it used to have a big military presentation for the Coke 600. They bring in helicopters and have the guys rappelling out the back, and they had pretend bombs going off. It was freaking awesome. I mean, it was when Humpy Wheeler was promoting that thing, he put on. It was the show before the show. I mean, it was really awesome, and it was really a sight to see. It seems like they cut down some of the pre-race stuff a little bit for whatever reason. That's a shame. I'd love to see a good military demonstration, on this day, saluting our troops like that. I think that would be a cool sight to see. Weather today would probably make it a little more difficult. But hopefully they still have something, other than just having the military there. Like, yeah, we honor you guys. Let's see a demonstration. I think that'd be awesome.
Well, jumping back to Indy, they seem to practice that, I think 11, 12 times even after they qualify. Is there a specific reason they practice so much for that race, or?
Well, they have different rules in the practice. Some of the rules they run. And I didn't quite catch it, and I just learned this issue, and I didn't quite catch it all. I don't remember if they turned the turbos down for qualifying, so they're not quite as fast as what they are. Then they said the next practice will be when they're on full boost and things like that. And they're also gonna they're gonna change. They're gonna practice when you're running full tanks of fuel because those things hold 40 gallons of methanol. So there's really a big change between when they're full and when they're getting empty. So you're going to see them run with full tanks. You're going to see them run with half tanks, low on fuel, in different weather conditions. The way that track can change, just throughout the race in one day. So that's and what the biggest race they used to practice for a whole freaking month with this thing, and they would qualify the week before and. So it's
still about 2 weeks they practice for it.
Though. Yeah,
I don't mind the road course for them starting it off because it gets them there. They get a little bit of racing, and an extra race for them gets extra TV time too. It bothers me when this is the only race for NASCAR is the dang road course. That's stupid. So I don't have a problem with it with them going. They still have both of them. You still get the best of both worlds. Nobody really shows up for the road course to watch that. It's gonna be fucking sold out. How many does this hold?
400,000.
Yeah, it's gonna be fucking sold out.
When the race is going on, it's the second biggest city in Indiana, I think, or something like that. Speedway, Indiana, normally has about 30,000 people.
Yeah, because it's right outside of Indianapolis, the actual city of Indianapolis, and I saw something they could fit 8 of these big landmark places in it. One of them was like, this is all of them together. It was like Vatican City, the Roman Colosseum, Churchill Estates. I forget everything else. It was all this other stuff. I mean, you could fit like race car tracks inside of the race car track.
It's it's a 2.5 mile track, but the way it's shaped, it's sort of a square or a rectangle. It is a massive, massive track. I flew into Indy, and you could see the track. I flew over Daytona, and it's like, oh yeah, there's Daytona. You fly over Indy, it's like, my God, that track is huge. Just because of the shape of it, just a big rectangle. So it's got half a golf course on the inside. It's got a 1/4 mile dirt track already on the inside of it. It's really a neat place. All the IndyCar shops. I mean, there's still sprint car shops out there right in Gasoline Alley. It's the PRI show in December. They had tours of Gasoline Alley, which was pretty cool. We got out there. We went through some of the IndyCar shops and some of the other things. It's pretty cool. All those tours, they just like, hey, there's coolers full of beer. Help yourself. We're like,
all right,
hell yeah, that was cool as shit.
What the four corners, everybody they look really similar, and it's like a little rectangle, like a rounded off rectangle and everything. Are these corners similar in any way, or is each single one different?
I think they're about as close on a racetrack as you're going to get. The biggest difference in the corners is the way the wind's going to be blowing. It might be, in your face going into one corner, and the next corner it's pushing you. So you could be, tight in one corner, loose in the next corner, just because of the air and the way they go. And the shade in the track could manage the same thing as well. But, Indy seems like they are constantly, I don't know if it's repainted. It almost looks like it's fresh asphalt at Indy. It's always a nice, smooth, black. It looks smooth, though. How smooth it is in the cars, I guess we'll see on some in-car camera shots.
I can't imagine it can't really be too rough, especially with those cars.
They're
pretty sensitive.
They're a 1/4 inch off the ground, so
I'm
so
sure they
I'm
do
guess
something.
it's probably very smooth. They have a little bit of banking, but it's not much going into those corners. Which makes it all the more impressive. They're going in that thing, making a 90-degree turn at 240 miles an hour.
There ain't no way. There ain't no fucking way. But I guess they're used to it. But I mean, and when these cars get in a wreck, they literally look like they just explode. I mean, they're built to just destroy.
It's to absorb the energy. The drivers are in a carbon fiber cockpit deal, and other than their legs are kind of, they're up just behind the front wing, which is a little scary. You see those guys get head on in. The biggest worry is the injuries to their legs and feet. But you'll see the parts flying off of them, and that's just to absorb the energy. And now that the safer barrier in Indy cars have that's helped a lot of these drivers come out for some really scary crashes. That's these guys are hitting at 200 and some miles an hour. It's impressive they can even remotely walk away from that kind of a crash.
It's a big race. It's a long race. It's their biggest oval race they have every year. What is a big key in strategizing the race, where you're running, how to conserve your push to pass?
Spider-Man's going to be waving the checkered flag. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, that's exciting.
Tom Holland gets to wave the checkered flag.
He should be dressed up as Spider-Man, though.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Give him a Spider-Man suit. That's what I'm going to do.
So Max Verstappen led every lap.
Shocker. Didn't expect that one. Oh, my God. I couldn't expect it. But, yeah, what are the keys to the Indy race? Conserving push to passes till later on, where you want to be towards the end, obviously in the lead, but like where you want to be.
Fuel mileage can play a big deal. They can adjust. I think they can actually do it remotely. They can lean the cars out where they're not burning as much fuel, not making as much power. Strategizing, you almost got to kind of guess how the race is going to play out. Try to get it to where the cautions are falling your way. The way they fuel the cars is actually kind of interesting. Like they'll start off, it's a gravity fed system when they put it in, and the more fuel they use, the less weight's behind that. So it actually takes longer towards the end of the race to get the fuel into the cars. a lot of times they won't even take a full load of fuel, so you have to know how many seconds of fuel you're going to get. Most of the time, they're probably always going to change tires because you can get the tires changed way before you can get the car filled up. So there'd be no need to not change tires. I don't think on that whole thing, but just guessing how you're gonna run the car. You're going to conserve fuel to start with, try to get for long runs, or are you going to just go balls out and just try to tear them up early and see how it goes from there?
I think you're going to have to conserve it and be there at the end. Don't want to go too hard at the beginning. And that's where you'll see a lot of veterans. They can shine too. But if it comes down to the fastest, ballsiest cars, a lot of the younger drivers got a good shot to get the win too. So I mean, it's interesting. There's so many different nationalities that are here. So many age ranges. I mean, you've got 21-year-olds looking to be the youngest winners here at the Indy 500, all the way up to old ass people up there.
Like TK, he's been running long. I don't know how old Tony is, but he's been running.
I think he's around 50. He got to be around 50 years old. But I mean, still, that's just that experience range is incredible. You got 33 of these drivers racing in the race, so
to win the Indy 500, you gotta run the whole race. So you gotta stay out of trouble. The first few laps, you start in 3 wide. Some of them guys never been 3 wide in their entire life. It's going to be
it's going to be pretty wild.
I mean, I've seen Indy cars come up the green and crash. Just
Yep.
Just being stupid and so.
Well, enough previewing it. Who are you looking at to win?
I want to go with the same guy. Sooner or later, he's bound to win this thing. He's been fast for whatever reason, has not won. He runs a Chevy, Pato O'Ward.
Well, I'm going with a first-time winner. I don't think has Pato ever won the Indy 500.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Well, I'm going for a first-time winner. I know for sure has not gotten it done at Indianapolis. He's starting on the front row, starting second. Rinus VK is the pick for the Indianapolis 500, and he will definitely be chugging the milk at the end of the race.
Way to make a mess, Zach.
Woo! Ha ha!
It's a random thought. What do they do if you're lactose intolerant and win that race?
You shit. Fuck it.
Got fake almond milk in there or whatever? I don't know.
Soy milk. the lactate milk, whatever it is. That was stupid. Hey, good job, dude. You never it out.
Yeah.
All right. The longest race in motorsports, actually last year was the actual longest race for the Coca-Cola. I'm not sponsored by them, but if you want to sponsor me, Coke, you can go on right at it. The Coke 600 last year was literally, like time-wise, was the longest race. I mean, last year, literally, Larson caught fire, had more issues on pit road, spun out, and this is just the first half. And then Cliff Daniels gets his little speech to him, tells him basically, suck it the fuck up, we're fine, and you're going to be all right. And he contends for the win. Cautions don't really go in his favor towards the end with tire strategy and everything. And Denny Hamlin is the defending winner of the Coca-Cola 600. So, keys to the 600, such a long night. Clearly, it doesn't really matter where you're running in the middle. You have to be able to run towards the second half is the biggest thing when the sun goes down.
Yeah. Well, normally on a nice day, that track's going to change a lot between the start of the race. We've been there, and it's the sun's beating down, it's hot. The time that sun goes down, it starts cooling off, it's getting chilly. If your car's good early, you're probably going to suck later in the race. Unless you got to really keep up with changing track conditions, and just like Indy, you got to run to win it. You got to run 600 miles. You got to stay out of trouble. You got to conserve your car. The whole deal. The last 100 laps 150 miles or so, then you better start bringing your A game. You got to run hard enough. You got to stay. You got to be in the top 15 or so throughout the race. I don't know what's going on downstairs.
It sounds like he's constipated or getting murdered. I don't know what the fuck's happening.
But yeah, you got to be in it to win it. So it's whoever's going to be able to keep up with the track, and depending on this rain, we could be looking at a Coke 300 if they start this rain today. They might be racing to halfway, which is going to change.
Or they'll be racing a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow, finishing it up. And either way, this track's going to be so cooled off, and I think it's going to have a ton of grip. And once the rubber lays down for a long race like that, I think there's going to be a lot of lines in this race. I think it's going to be a pretty exciting race.
Well, it's interesting. They put the resin down they had in the truck race. I wonder do they reapply that? This I don't know, and I would love if anybody knows the answer to this. If they had the resin of the PJ1 or
they might not be able to.
It's like, does that wash off with the rain? Do they reapply it? Do they let
I think
it
just wears out when they race on it. So
it takes heat to start really getting it to work. It'd be interesting to see if that's any of the issue, and if they start this race, do they try to. You might see them race hard for the first 300 miles just in case that's what.
Well, let's see what this damn weather's looking like out here in the window. Yeah. And again, this is completely different weather than it is in Charlotte.
Yeah, and we're only 20 miles north of the racetrack.
I mean, but right now we're in a break. But I think this is what they were kind of predicting. There's a little bit of a break, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm hoping for a race, but otherwise we've got the Wycroft Memorial tonight, so we at least got that.
Outlaws at Lawrenceburg Speedway.
Oh shit, let's do that pick first. So Lawrenceburg, you looked at it a little bit. It's a wide track. It's a fast track.
Yeah, high bank 3/8 mile. Looks like
it's tomorrow. Fast. And this is a Memorial Day race for the Outlaws.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fun track. I know they. Looks like the last few videos I saw, they put on a hell of a show, and the Outlaws been great racing all year. I expect nothing different this year.
A fast track. I think the cushion was where you kind of wanted to be at that track, though. There was a lot of speed.
Yeah, it looked like that was the fast way around.
And it could be different. I mean, it doesn't matter. It could be completely different this year.
They call it a high bank 3/8. On video, it looked like a big 3/8 mile. It looked fast.
We might as well get this out of the way. With that type of track, who you going with on this one?
Yep, it's been a while since he's been in victory lane. I think we're going to go with Sheldon Hodenshield.
The Wild Child's son.
The Wild Child, yep.
I don't know what's Sheldon's nickname. It's not the Wild Child. Wild Child was his dad.
That was Jack. I do not know.
He's got some sort of nickname. I don't really know what it is.
Something on his shirt said the wall and had Hodge. I don't know. He's not afraid to put her up on the wall. So it's we'll go with Sheldon.
I'm going with a guy that's been a little while as well since he's won. Been competitive. Been very racy, and he's a very good driver, very fast. David Gravel is my pick for the Outlaw race at Lawrenceburg on Memorial Day, Monday. All right, we're getting into it. It's the Coke 600 time to get into our picks. Everybody's been wondering about it. Dad, who did Mom pick?
Who did Mom pick?
She picked Chase Elliott. I was just letting you have the honors.
Oh, okay.
No, never mind. She picked
Kyle Busch. She changed her mind.
Yep, yeah.
Kyle Busch.
Who'd have thought she changed her mind? No.
Yeah. That's a good pick. He's due for another good run.
Well, I jinxed the fuck out of Logano last week. But, I mean, I guess it worked out well for me as a fan, but not for Joey. So, sorry, Joey. But, Dad, who are you going with in the Coke 600? Whether it's today, tomorrow, mixture of both, whatever day they race.
Going to stay with a veteran driver on this one, Martin Truex Jr.
He's got a couple. He's got two of them so far.
Yeah, I think he makes it 3.
He knows how to get it done. Joe Gibbs is very strong there as well. Toyota's definitely coming on in the mile and a half races.
Michael did pick Kyle Larson.
Oh yeah. Michael doesn't usually pick anybody. That's probably the only driver he knows. So take it as he doesn't count. So for the picks, anyways, my pick, and I've been going on rants about him and being negative about him, but he's still a very good driver. He's got very good equipment. He's aggressive enough if it comes down to it towards the end of the race. He knows how to race. Obviously he's in the Cup Series. He's been competing for wins this year, and he's taken out people. Going with Ross Chastain, the Watermelon Man, for the win at the Coke 600. As much as it might irk me to say that, but I think Ross is a guy. He's a really good guy. It's just kind of pisses you off on the track. So if he tones it down a little bit, I might like him again. He just keeps wrecking the wrong person.
I appreciate the aggressiveness. Sometimes he doesn't need to do
it. He even admitted
he doesn't need to do it when when he's doing it. If you're going the last couple laps,
he even admitted he needs to change something up.
Give her hell last couple laps. That's we're talking the whole thing for it.
But if you want to go door to door, what was stupid with Darlington though, he should have went door to door instead of cutting across with his right rear in front of Larson.
Which I think he had only intentions of crashing Larson. I don't think he cared if he finished or not of that race. Yeah, because 8 wheels stick better than 4. If he'd have went in side by side, he could have probably walled Larson. He would have stayed off the thing, and neither one of them probably would have crashed.
Y'all see what's about to happen, right? We're ending it off, starting off like I usually do on tailgates and stuff.
His best Caitlin Larson impression here. Going to shotgun, of course.
Well, she chugged it at Wilkesboro because she could not get it. I might not be able to get it. Maybe it's a course thing. It's hard to actually shotgun it. This is going to be a fucking mess right here. And watch out, this is fucking splash zone right now.
If you're wondering, Zach's wife's not here, so she's not seeing us at the moment, or she'd be mad.
Yeah, it's fine.
Making a mess.
Hey, it's upstairs in our area, so it's not a big deal. So, yep, there's that. All right. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy the racing today. All right.
Hell yeah. America.
Hashtag America. That's how we do it. Everybody enjoy the racing today. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you next time. Don't know when we'll be back on. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Need to recover this week from after today. So that's one of many that's going to happen today. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow on all social media platforms.
Tell your friends.
Yep, tell a friend. That's fine. Holy shit, I got this shit everywhere. Ha! Oh, I got some cleaning up to do. Fuck! All right.